You can gain muscle and strength so fast if you get the right start and avoid focusing on the wrong things. If I started lifting today, this is what I would do. I started lifting weights 20 years ago and I did so many mistakes in the beginning and my training was very ineffective. Not only in general, but for the goals that I had and the results that I wanted. I wanted to build muscle and get stronger, and I could have done that so much faster and easier with less time spent if I had been more focused on the things that actually mattered. So in this video, to hopefully save you the time and frustration that I had to spend, I'm going to share the 5 things I would do if I started lifting weights today. Number 1, I would focus on the big 4 movements. And the big 4 movements is a concept I believe I first heard from Coach Dan John in one of his books, which are awesome. You should check them out. And it refers to the 4 big fundamental human movements that if you train them, you will not only work a majority of your major muscle groups, but you will also get generally strong in all of these movements, which you encounter in your daily life or in athletics or when the shit hits the fan and you need to be able to perform in some setting. So the big 4 movements are, number 1, an upper body push. Examples of this would be a bench press or a shoulder press. And they generally work your chest muscles, your front delts and your middle delts and your triceps. Movement number 2 is going to be an upper body pull, where you pull something towards you. And an example of this would be a barbell row or a pull-up or a lat pull-down. And these typically work your upper back, your rear deltoid, your biceps, and your grip. Movement number 3 is some kind of squat. And this is where you bend your legs and your hips and extend them again. Examples of this movement is obviously a barbell squat, a kettlebell squat, a leg press, or maybe lunges or Bulgarian split squats. And these typically work your quadriceps, your adductors, and your glutes. Might also work your calves in some cases. And the 4th and final of these 4 big movements is the hip hinge, which is basically where you bend your hips and extend them again. Examples of exercises would be the barbell deadlift, a good morning, a Romanian deadlift, or a kettlebell swing. Training this movement will work your lower back, your glutes, and your hamstrings, just to name a few. So my training would be focused on these 4 big movements, which would train most of my muscle groups and cover most of my strength base. If you want to throw in some bonus ab work or direct arm training into this mix, feel free to do so, but make sure that these 4 movements make up the foundation of your training, as this is what is going to give you that big bang for your buck and make your training not only effective, but also time efficient. All right, number 2 on the list is to learn the technique. Now that we have decided what type of movements we want to use in our training, it is time to actually learn how to perform them. Not only in a safe and controlled manner, but in a way that is effective for your strength training goals. And the key here is that you are in no rush and you don't need to stress this. And if you're able to check your ego, you can start with super light weights in order to accommodate this. That is probably the biggest favor you can do yourself when you are starting out lifting weights. Begin super light. What you should focus on instead of the weights is to use a long range of muscle, training your muscles and your joints through their entire range of motion that they can go through. And also on developing control over the movement. So go slowly in the beginning, gradually increase that range of motion. As your mobility and your stability increases, just take it slow, use light weights, focus on getting the form down before you look at increasing weights or reps too aggressively. So start very light, build mobility, build stability, build the durability of your muscles and your joints. Notice how I keep saying joints with the soft J instead of joints, which I suppose is the American pronunciation. I'm sorry, I'm Swedish. No, I'm not sorry. So from this very light base, you then start to gradually increase the challenge by increasing the weights or the reps. We'll get back to that. Point number 3 is to make a plan, which typically means following a training program. It is fine to wing your training a little bit and improvise according to what you feel like doing for the day, but you should typically do so within some form of structure. Typically, for good results, we want to hit those 4 big movements mentioned in the step 1 around 2 times per week. 1 up to 3 times per week is cool. It has some different pros and cons or things that you might want to think about, but roughly 2 times per week for each of those big movements is a good target to aim for. And here's where we get into one of the fun parts of strength training, which is designing a training program. And there are infinite ways in which you can combine one. Some of the popular combinations that would be suitable for a beginner or when you start on lifting are these. Full body sessions, where you do 1 each of all the big 4 movements every training session. And then you do like 2 to 3 training sessions per week. Or upper lower body sessions. So in the upper body sessions, you do the upper body pushes and pulls. And then in the lower body sessions, you do the squatting movement and the hip hinge. And you alternate between the upper and lower body sessions, maybe doing a total of 3 to 4 workouts per week in this manner. And then the third option, which is one of my favorites, which is kind of a semi-full body workout, where you do one upper body push, one upper body pull, and then you alternate between workouts between a squat or a hip hinge. So in workout A, you might do a push, a pull, and a squat. And in workout B, you do a push, a pull, and a deadlift. And then you just keep alternating like that. And if you want a program recommendation, that semi-full body alternating training template is what we use in one of the free programs in our app StrengthLog, in the program called Beginner Barbell Program. You train 3 times per week, alternate between those 2 types of movements, do 3 sets of 10 reps in each, and then just gradually increase the weights. Which brings me to the next point. The fourth thing that I would do if I started training today, and that I already am doing in my training, is to track my training. It doesn't have to be advanced, but I want you to write down the exercises you did, the weight, the reps and the sets, and of course the day and date. You can do this with pen and paper, or you can throw us a bone and use our free workout tracker app StrengthLog. This step is short, but it is crucially important because it leads into the 5th and final step. Step number 5, use progressive overload, which is every personal trainer's favorite expression. And it means that you gradually make things harder and more challenging in your training. So for instance, if you begin training the barbell bench press with just an empty barbell, which is 20 kilos or 45 pounds, and you do 3 sets of 10 reps, and you're able to do those 3 sets of 10 reps with a decently good form, well, then you increase the weight for your next workout. And the increase might be as small as just 2.5 kilos or 5 pounds extra. Then you try and do 3 sets of 10 reps again. And if you can complete all reps with good form, well, for your next workout, you increase the weight by 1 tiny step once again. And this is how you grow and get stronger. This increased stimulus for your muscle, this increased tension every time, is what triggers your body to grow and get stronger. And without it, you're pretty soon gonna plateau and not get any more results from your training, which we obviously doesn't want. So track your training, and then when you get into the gym, you look at what you did last time and you try to improve that in some small step. Maybe you couldn't get all 3 sets of 10 reps in with a given weight last time. Well, then try to do 3 sets of 10 reps this time. Maybe you could only do 3 sets of 8 reps. Well, then try adding a rep or 2 to this workout. And when you get those 3 sets of 10 reps in, well, then you increase the weight for your next workout and start over. I cannot stress enough how important this 5th and last step is. It is what will keep you from spinning your wheels in the gym, not getting any results, or actually progressing and getting bigger and stronger as the weeks and months and years go by. If you follow these 5 steps, you will get better results than almost anyone in the gym. So to recap, focus on the big 4 movements, learn the technique, make a plan, track your training, and use progressive overload. I hope that helps, and subscribe if you want to see more videos on how to strength train. Train hard, eat well, and die anyway.